Hi there. Welcome to the Weirdly Wired Women podcast. In this episode, we're going to talk about how bell bottoms relate to business relationships, kind of. A few weeks ago, I went to a concert by the tribute band for the 70s and 80s band ABBA. It was an amphitheater, and most of the seating is uncovered lawn, so it's first come, first served. We happen to have reserved seats in the covered pavilion area, but we got there about 2 hours early to have a picnic dinner outside on the grounds. And by the time we got there, the parking lot was already rather full. The queue to get in front to get inside for the lawn seating was really, really long, and kind of snaked by where the picnic area was. So we got to do a lot of people watching, and it's such a great crowd. So many people dressed in disco fashions, clearly ready to just like sing and dance and party and just enjoy themselves. To the point where I almost wished I dressed up too, except it was well into the 80s and really, really humid. So I was happy with my linen pants and sandals over polyester and patent leather go-go boots. But they looked very nice and fun, but I'm sure they were sweltering. We were finally, when we finally went in to get our seats, we crossed through the part of the lawn seating, but you'd never know there was lawn there. Every section was covered. You couldn't see any grass. There was a blanket butted up against blanket, and because the place was packed, the concert was completely sold out. And evidently this tribute band comes every August and sells out every August at this venue. And where I live, it is traditionally, I know it's disgusting a lot of places in August, but it is so hot and humid in this area at this time of the year. And I was thinking about how people were willingly spending money to sit outside in non-breathable materials to see a tribute band. Not only that, but one of the singers was visibly pregnant. And she was dancing on the stage, also in non-breathable materials and high-heeled go-go boots. Again, it's August. So I was thinking about all of this and enjoying the music, but also because of the way my brain works, thinking about what this whole experience taught me and shared that this is great news for anybody starting a small service business. And so I want to share about why that is, so you can start seeing things maybe in a different way than we sometimes think about things. And the reason this is great news is because it addresses one of the concerns that so many people have when they're starting their business, which is why bother when other people are already offering the same service? First, how will I find clients with so many other people already doing the thing? And second, I'm not as good as insert name of whoever has been doing it longer, or maybe does it in a way that is exactly how you would do it. So let's talk about the first one, the idea that you need some ridiculously original idea in order to have a business. I mean, you can, and if you do, that's great. But that could be kind of risky unless you really, really know that there's a market for what you want to do. If think about it, if others are already successfully doing what you want to do, then there's a market for those services, and it's probably not tapped. I guess in some situations it might be, but the odds are good that there are still plenty of customers out there in spite of who else is doing it. Because let's think about just a traditional US suburb. Typically, there are a couple of main roads with shopping centers lining the sides, interspersed with fast food chains and casual dining chains. And there are competing drugstores across the street from each other. The same with gas stations, big box hardware stores, grocery stores, burger joints. And there are probably more mattress stores than you can count. I don't know why there are so many, but there are a lot. And companies wouldn't do that if it wasn't profitable. Land is expensive, rent is expensive, staff is expensive. Developers wouldn't be able to get loans for their capital expenses if banks and investors weren't going to see a return on their investment. And they only do that through profits. So it has to make sense for these businesses to go there. And they do, because there are hundreds of thousands of people, which means there's enough business for everyone. And yet, in spite of all of the options you probably have a favorite fast food place. You probably have a favorite grocery store or drugstore chain. And if you've seen more than one of the hundreds of ABBA tribute bands, you probably have a favorite. I don't, because I've only seen one, so I don't really have a basis for comparison, but people on the internet certainly have opinions about it. And so whether a business is a tribute band or an act like a regular business, there's there's something about the ones that you like that is just different enough from the others that keeps you as a fan. It could be maybe it's convenient or it's practical, like they take your insurance, but that'll really only take you so far. It's more likely that it has to do with something a little bit softer, like friendlier service or some inexplicable vibe, or this is less soft, but more like you like their French fries better because they still have the skin on the edges. And so you could tell they were once potatoes. Or like one of the singers looks exactly like your first high school crush, and that's why you like them better. So while yes, you do have to be a little bit different than other businesses out there to attract customers, you don't have to be completely novel, because you already have exactly what you need to be different enough. And that is yourself, because you are what makes your business, your service business special, just because you're you. And I get it. That sounds like ridiculously hokey, but it's true. Am I the only coach for people who want to start a business? No. Am I the only one focused on neurodiverse people or women? I am not. But not every neurodiverse woman who wants to start a business and comes across me is going to want to work with me. Some will decide they don't want to work with a coach at all. Some will work with a different coach, and that's okay, because people resonate differently with different people, even if on paper they seem to be pretty similar. And I'm okay not being everybody's cup of tea. And even if I was everyone's cup of tea, there are like 168 million women in the US. And we don't know how many of them are neurodiverse because we've been misdiagnosed for so long. But I've seen some statistics placing adult ADHD at about 6.8%. And by seen, I did a quick Google and picked something that came from Forbes. So I'm assuming it's trustworthy, but I have not really fact checked it. But assuming that's correct, that's about 11.4 million women. Now, granted, not all of them are going to want a coach to start a business, but even a small percentage of 11.4 million, it's a lot of cups of tea. So that's just not something that one person can sustain. So there is room for more than one person. And again, we're talking about just US numbers, not global. So what about the other issue that that other people might be better because they're doing it longer or have a following or are already saying everything you could say? So how can you compete with that? So now's a good point to remind you that everybody started somewhere. And to paraphrase something that I heard when I started my writing business, don't compare your first draft to a superstar's final draft. And that really applies to everything. Whether that superstar is the top real estate person in your town or the motivational author with millions of followers. Because here's the thing about superstars. You aren't in competition with them. At least you're not there yet. And only if you want to be will you get there. You don't have to ever be in competition with them. Because superstars can be expensive, intimidating, or not even taking new clients. Or they serve a niche that is a little bit different than what you are looking for, because as people advance, they generally start advancing the types of people that they serve. And so if you, for example, want to serve small businesses, then probably one of the superstars might be serving much larger businesses. And this other thing about superstars is that people might like following them and knowing about them, but not everyone who follows them wants to work with them. Just like I imagine not everyone who wants to go to ABBA tribute concerts would line up to buy tickets if the original ABBA went on tour again. What clients really want is to work with people who get them and what they care about. They want results, of course, but they're not going to insist on this absolute perfection. And honestly, if they do, perhaps they aren't the best client fit for you. The perfect business relationship is like that tribute concert that I was just at. The attendees, like clients, love this band or your business for what it is, even though it's not original, it's not new. They're wearing the same costumes the original band did. They're singing the same songs. They're doing the same dance moves. And the clients or the attendees want that because they want to share with this particular group or business owner something that they love and care about. In this case, it's ABBA, but it could be anything. It could be, keeping your business social media in, it's stellar shape. It could be, keeping whatever your service you tried, you're doing, whether it's coaching or cleaning or whatever, you care about that, and something about that business owner is going to make them care about it too. So, and then they want to work with you because you, as that particular business owner, loves and cares about the same thing so much that maybe not literally, but you would like show up pregnant in a sweltering swamp wearing pleather just to share that enthusiasm with you. I don't advise doing that specifically, but that's the kind of thing. Like the band in this case was so passionate about what they were doing and sharing that with others, and that's kind of a reciprocal thing that it feeds into each other. And that's really what you want in a client relationship. You want your clients to love you for you, and for you to care about their problem that you're helping them solve so much that you're both winning. To quote an ABBA song, that's the name of the game. I guess that's actually what's the name of the game, so I got that wrong. Anyway, it's kind of been floating in the back of my head for the past couple of weeks. But so I just completely lost the thread of where I was going to wrap this up. So I'm sorry about my brain doing that right now. It's now singing ABBA songs to me, which is not terribly helpful. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, rate, and review, or you can sign up at Weirdly Wired Women for email updates on episodes. Thanks a lot. Talk to you next time. Bye.